Hi everyone, I am visiting my friend Marlies because we are embarking on a very, very special project together. Well, we actually have been already embarked on that project for 10 months. And that is because Marlies and I are breeding my very first foal for my stallion Emporio together. It is with her mare Vienna, which is a full PRE mare. And she is just a couple of weeks away from giving birth. So we're gonna go bring her out of the field and up to the stables. And we're gonna be talking about the journey so far with her pregnancy, what we're expecting to come out, and kind of everything in between. We're also going to be seeing some of Marlies' crossbreds because she breeds PRE horses with warm bloods. It's very specific type of project, but we're going to be meeting some of these horses as well. So we'll just head down, grab Vienna out of the field, and we'll take a good look. So we are just gonna call Vienna up here, which is the mare that we are breeding with Emporio. There's a very unique way that this is done.
Well, it doesn't work every day, but we're going to give it a try.
We're going to try.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a nice story. You were telling me it's kind of like a small little tradition for the last 20 years. You've been doing it the same way.
Well, we used to have two horses when we just came here 30 years ago, and one was called Misty and the other was called Adobe.
Yeah.
And they were in the field down here, and we always called Misty, Adobe, and they would come.
Yeah.
And over the past 30 years, horses have come in and out of this barn, but we always kept calling
The
Dobe
same
Misty,
names.
And they kept coming.
How special. Yeah. But we will
yeah.
bring her up here and we're gonna be discussing and talking a little bit about the breeding journey so far. We have some footage from the very beginning. Actually, my Emporio met her as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna bring her up here and kind of discuss also a little bit the plan moving forward, because the next few weeks are gonna be quite important before delivery. And then a little bit what's going to happen after. But we will get her up here first.
Let's see, because it's quite windy. I don't know whether she's going to hear me, but we can give it a try. Dobe! Misty, come here! Need a little more ointment. Big chance that they are looking at us and thinking,
They're thinking, I don't think so.
No. Come here, come here! Let's go, come here! Come here!
This Emporio's baby is difficult to come up the hill.
Oh, but there they are. Good so.
They slow down a bit. They think we're too pregnant for this. Hey, miss.
Good girl.
We'll take you in. Which stall do you want me to pop her in?
In the birthing
And
stable.
which do I enter it from? Which side?
Just follow me.
Okay. Look, oh, you're baking an Emporio baby in there, huh?
There you go.
Good girl. We'll take you in here. Oh, straight to the food. Oh, hungry.
Hungry. Been in the field all day.
Oh my God, she looks even bigger now in the stable.
In the close-up. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's enormous. Huh?
Yeah. So this is Vienna. You guys met her already a little bit on the previous tour video with Marlies when we toured this whole stables. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background as to how we got here and how we have such a huge belly. So actually, I reached out to Marlies a while ago, obviously, more than 11 months ago. And I said, hey, listen, you've got these incredible mares. I said, you've got this incredible place, and I know you manage the horses so well. Typically, you only do cross breds. Yeah. You breed PRE mares with warm blood stallions, and that's really the niche and what you're known for. But I said, is there any way you have one mare that we could find to do like a purebred PRE? Yeah. And it could be interesting for two reasons. Maybe you get a mare out of it for the breeding program that could be interesting. Yeah. Or maybe we just get a nice PRE horse, and maybe it's just fun. I don't know.
It was just a fun idea.
Yeah, to be honest, it came out of excitement for the project and being involved with you as well. And you were very nice and very open-minded to it. And initially, we had some ambition of having a couple of foals actually coming out to get a bit of a comparison. So we had inseminated her, and it actually went very easily.
She's very fertile.
Yeah.
So usually in breeding, getting a mare pregnant also takes a lot of, it's just a lot of effort. Every time you have to go to the veterinarian to check in which part of the cycle she is, when she needs to be inseminated, especially when we use frozen semen.
Yeah, we did frozen because I only do frozen semen with my horse.
And then the insemination process is even more specific. So she needs to be at the vet for 24 hours, and the vet needs to check her every 4 hours whether the egg is actually jumping.
Yeah.
And then inseminate her. And luckily she's very fertile, so that worked immediately.
Yeah.
But we had this parallel idea of creating a crossbreed
Yeah.
with Imperio.
Yeah.
And then of course she got pregnant and the other mare didn't get pregnant. So
Exactly.
now we don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
But then again.
We thought it would be really interesting to see the difference of, okay, if we have two foals that are born at the exact same time and one is purebred Piri and one is crossbred, it would be interesting to see them develop and go forth. And the warm blood mare that is a friend of mine that I was doing it with, an elite mare, a really nice mare. Sadly, we just couldn't get her in time because she ovulated with 2 eggs. And then the next cycle it also didn't take, so we just missed the period and then it got too late.
Yeah.
So it just unfortunately didn't...
We don't have our comparison.
We don't have our comparison, but she is, we are getting that mare pregnant this year.
Okay.
So we still will have
Okay.
a crossbred come,
Yeah.
but it just will be a year in between,
Yeah.
which is not what we anticipated for, but that's
No, but
horses. That's breeding.
horses and it's nature. I mean, nature is the boss here.
Yeah.
And you can have all sort of very clever vets and tricks and all these transplanting embryos and stuff, but in the end, nature is the boss.
Exactly.
And that's fine.
And how has the pregnancy been so far, like with Vienna? I mean, we can see her now. She's very big. She's clearly very pregnant, and she only has 2 to 3 weeks left from her gestation. But how has the pregnancy been, especially because you've bred her a couple of times, so you know how she is?
Yeah. Well, I think the very healthy mares are, of course, the good brood mares, and they just carry these children, the foals out without any difficulties.
Okay, so there hasn't been any hiccups so far or anything that's come up?
We've been riding her a bit in the first few months just to keep them fit enough.
Yeah.
But from the moment on that you think, okay, now they start to show,
Yeah.
then we stop riding them and we sometimes launch them or walk them a bit.
Yeah.
And what we actually did over the winter is we put them in the field, all of them, the pregnant mares for the last few months, because they're just in the outdoors. They had a little shelter and a blanket on, but being outdoors I think is much better for them. And they're in a sort of herd. There were the 5 of them, so they were just being 5 cozy mares together. And we only brought them in, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she looks amazing for that. I mean, she looks like she hasn't skipped a beat, or like she's been stabled all winter. It looks, looks amazing.
And it's been a very messy winter, very rainy.
Yeah.
And very often when we went there, there's of course a shed, but they never stand under the shed.
Yeah.
Just,
no, they don't care.
They don't care about the rain. So
yeah.
they're just out there. No, she came out very easily, and they don't change by that. They're still as touchy and friendly as they were when they went in.
Yeah.
So I think that and her birth is usually also pretty uncomplicated. So that's we're lucky with her.
So we've set up ourselves for success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had actually a few mares to choose from in the beginning, because you have like 2-3 mares here that we could pick to do the breeding with, and we end up deciding on her. And you had pointed out a couple of positive characteristics that you thought, okay, I think she's going to be your best option. Maybe you can talk us through your thought process for that, how we kind of landed on her as being the
well, I think she's very much a Piri in a sense that she's a bit shorter.
Yeah, square.
The one mare that I just walked down there, Piri mare, I bought especially because she's 1.70 m high and she looks like a warm blood already.
Yeah.
You could mix them up actually.
Yeah.
So, and she produces very beautiful high-legged, warm-bloodish foals.
Yeah.
That people like. But she makes them more like the feisty, Piri sort of mares.
Yeah.
If we have some footage of her daughter by Secret.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
She's the one. Who's now at the 𝒂𝐐𝐏 doing this 7-week mare test. She has a big neck and a big ass, and she's a really strong, feisty mare to look at.
Yeah.
Instead of the rectangular warm blood.
Yes.
So I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
She moves very well. She has a very nice character. And she is a Piri. We have some 𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒆𝒚 too.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't interesting for us. Yeah, we wanted a full Piri. Yeah. And now that we're on month 10, what are some? Because you said that she also has a tendency of delivering slightly earlier.
Yeah.
She bakes them quick.
Yeah. She has a turbo mom.
Turbo mom. But the foals are healthy. But what are some signs to look out for? Because as you know, I have no experience in this, but so what are some signs to look out for that you think, oh, it's coming, she's giving me some signs now that the foal is going to be coming very soon. So what are you kind of looking out for?
Well, of course, you look underneath them. You see whether there's milk being produced. That's the first sign that you see, but that's always 2 to 4 weeks before it starts. 2 to 4 weeks before the delivery. So it's just more like, okay, there's something working.
And do you mean like the wax coating on the nipple, or do you actually mean it's dripping?
The fact that the nipple is growing.
Oh, it's enlarged.
Yeah, it's very much enlarged, and it's getting even more enlarged.
And what would you say we're looking like right now?
We're at, I think, a quarter of what it's going to be.
Oh, okay, it's going to really grow.
In the last few days, they really work like this because there's a lot of tension on it.
Yeah.
And but you see, it's in the process.
Yeah.
And another thing that you can check that every once in a while when they walk in the stable, if you try to lift her tail, if she pushes back, there's still a lot of power in it.
Yeah.
As soon as, because in order for the foal to pass through, she needs to weaken all the muscles that are here.
Yeah.
They need to soften a lot.
Yeah.
And what you will see, she's now very round. In the end, it turns into a roof.
Yeah.
All these muscles disappear.
Like a triangle,
yeah,
like
it looks like a triangle. And if you then lift the roof, it's already quite easy.
Yeah.
But you can just flip it. She doesn't have any power in it anymore.
Okay.
So it's just a simple way to see where are we in the process.
Yeah.
And then you have very simple. It's like in a laboratory. It's a paper, and if you just take one drop of the milk onto the paper colors in a certain color, and it says the pH is either 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. And the first milk that she's going to produce is going to be very sweet. So the pH, the pH, it will show on that little paper. So when you see the pH going up, then you think, okay, now we're getting closer and closer. And then within 24 hours, it reaches a score. You say, now I really have to start checking it.
I see.
And we also put on a halter with a little machine in it. It can send a signal as soon as she puts her head completely down. So I can show it to you. It's called a birth alarm. It's a transmitter, and it prefers to be in this vertical way. As soon as it is completely horizontal, so if the horse lies down and puts his head completely down,
flat,
then it starts calling your mobile. So you're in your bed and birth alarm, and then we have 2 cameras in the stable, and I sleep with a laptop on the left and my right. So I just open my eye and think,
you're like at the Pentagon in your room.
You open your eye and think, okay, I don't see anything special. She's just lying there.
Yeah.
Or, because the funny thing is, they have sort of patterns in there. If you look at them overnight, which you usually don't do, but you do before foaling, you will see that there's a rhythm. They stand in front of that door for half an hour, then have a drink, then pee in that corner, then have some hay, go back. There's a rhythm. Yeah. And they keep repeating that rhythm the whole night.
Yeah.
So suddenly you see them going off the rhythm, and then you think, okay, now I really need to be careful and check it. And if the birth alarm then goes off, then of course you get out of your bed.
Yeah.
And we get out of our bed very often unnecessary.
Yeah.
But then at some moment, you don't want to miss it, because the birth is, well, I told you I'm really going to try to have you here when it happens, because there's such an incredible power in nature. There's the hole where this 75 kilo thing is coming out is really small.
Yes.
And it's incredible. The mare it's 15 minutes, and then the birth is done. And the most beautiful thing actually is the moment that the foal is in the straw and the mare turns her head around and looks at it, and there's this whinny, and then the foal says, are you my mom? Okay. And they sort of connect within a few seconds, and it brings you to tears, because it's such a beautiful sight. And then the mare, you can also see her being proud suddenly. There's something in the eyes and something like, okay, this is my foal from now on. Yeah. And that's also why in breeding I don't feel sorry that you use the mares for breeding. As you can see in that half year that they are with the foals, I'm sure they're really happy. They're proud, and they're happy of their foal being there, and they're protective, and they take care of it.
And all their instincts as well are coming out.
All their instincts, it's just being a mare.
Yeah.
And after half a year, they're fed up with them.
Take it off my hands.
Just like you with children that are 17 or 18 years old, you think, okay, you can move out now. Yeah. That happens with them too. Yeah. So if you then separate them, and what we can do, of course, because we have all the foals, they know each other. We put all the foals together in the arena, in the area with the tent, and the moms go out to another field. That's a very natural process. Yeah. If you just give it a long enough time. Yeah.
I
and
understand.
the foals, because as I told you, we ride the mares with the foals in the woods.
Yeah.
It's just a short circle around, only 10 minutes, but the foals can just jump around and they're having a field time. But after 6 months, they become very naughty,
Yeah.
and they just run off.
Yeah.
And the mare's like, woo, 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 okay, please stay with me. So then you just notice there's a moment that it's time to split them.
Yeah, I understand. Well, it's going to be really interesting to see what pops out. I mean, there's no way of knowing if it's going to be a little colt or a little filly, so that's always a nice surprise.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it already. We think we're pretty sure it's gray.
I think so. Well, it will be born dark, but
Yeah.
it will turn gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Emporio was very dark. Even when I bought him as a 3-year-old,
Yeah,
there
I
was
remember him
nearly
being
no
very-
gray
yeah.
on him at all,
Yeah.
and he was like a rose bay type color. And then he grayed out very slowly. He still has dapples now,
Yeah.
and his mane and everything is dark. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see what comes. It is crazy to think that there is such a large foal in here. I
Already
mean,
there.
she is of course looking very pregnant, but you could never imagine what would come out.
No,
Like it's
And as I said to you, once it's out, you look at it and say, you can never put it back in again.
No,
It will never
no.
fit.
Yeah.
It's incredible that it's been there all that time.
So I think what we might try to do is to have me like on standby once we start to see these signs. I don't live that far from you now that I've moved, so I'm like 45 minutes, so it's not terribly
No,
far.
it could work.
So maybe I get a phone call in the middle of the night and you're like, get over here,
Yeah.
it's happening. That would be
or
really
I could
special.
connect you to the cameras and you can
Yeah.
have a look for yourself.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Have two laptops.
Have my screens.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
could do that. That would be fun, because it would be fun if you're there, and especially if you could film it, because I will film it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's such a beautiful process.
Yeah, I've never been part of a birth. I've seen the birth once. I was filming for a program called 𝒋𝒐𝒏𝒆𝒚 that I film, and we were just doing the intro of the video, just like we have done with you. And then all of a sudden, the Shetland just started giving birth, like right in front of us. And then the girl that we were doing the intro with, she just ran off and helped deliver the foal. So it was very random and chaotic, but I've never seen a large horse give birth ever. And it would be insane that the first one I see is from my stallion as well. It would be very, very special.
Yeah.
So we will try and do that, but you never know.
Try to do that, but you can come after that, because once it's there, it's for hours. It's still very wet and wobbly and trying to stand up.
Yeah.
Because there's this whole process of you should want it to at least try to stand up after within an hour, and then within 2 hours it should be standing and drinking the milk that that the mother's having. And the first milk is, of course, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And the weird thing with foals is they are born without any antibodies.
Yeah.
Totally none. That's why you need to make sure that the stable is very, very clean.
Yeah.
And all the antibodies that they will get for the first half year of their life will be in the first milk.
Wow.
So they really need to get that. You need to get that in. That's a stressy period. If it's not in within 24 hours, then nature somehow has organized that the foal's body shuts down. It can't take the antibodies anymore. The intestines shut down.
Yeah.
So I think it's the survival of the fittest thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't managed, then you're a flight animal. You will not survive. So that's the end of you.
Nature is very cutthroat.
It's very cutthroat.
Yeah.
And nowadays you think, oh, we should help them.
Yeah.
Try to get that milk in. So that's what people, of course, do. If you see the first 12 hours are gone and it's not drinking enough, then you should milk the mare and make sure that the milk gets in there in the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
So those are quite stressy moments. It feels unfair for the foal, because it needs to stand up, it needs to get on those long legs, which is very difficult for them, and they bump into the walls, and the more they bump into the walls, the more energy they lose, the less energy they will have to get to that nipple and actually start drinking.
Yeah.
So the process, even if you miss the birth itself, that is
there's a lot still to come.
There's a lot to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. And how is she as a mother? Is she quite territorial of the foal, or is she quite calm around everyone
calm.
still? And okay.
But what I noticed with the Spanish mares, they're pretty tough to the foal.
Oh, really?
I want you to stay there, and there's no fooling around with these
Latinas.
moms. No, really, it's really fun, and they teach them in the first 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
If you walk that's why I let them in that paddock. The mare walks. If the foal goes away too far, she'll get it back next to my shoulder, and that's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
And then the foal's next to the shoulder. So it's fascinating.
Okay.
Fascinating process.
And I mean, of course, like things can go wrong. It happens. Has that been like a challenge for you in the past, or?
Well, luckily we've never had a birth that went wrong.
Yeah.
Because of course, if the foal makes a very weird turn, it's lying like this in the belly. It needs to go out there, and it needs to turn around, straighten its legs up front, and then dive out of air.
Yeah,
literally. That's literally what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if they turn around and they miss one leg, so you have one leg over there, one leg over there, they'll be too broad in the shoulders to come out.
Yeah.
So you need to push them back, look for that other leg, try to get it out so that they can actually finish the dive.
Gosh.
Yeah, there's and that's, although of course there are horror stories, there are many things that can go wrong, but you should know what to do in a few situations that you can help yourself, and otherwise of course call the vet anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's too late, it's too late. If it's born in a wrong way, but this is one thing that happens a lot.
Well, I'm so glad to have your guidance throughout all this, because I have absolutely no clue. And I also would never have done this alone. I just couldn't do it because I just would have felt completely unprepared, and you need someone to kind of guide you through these things once or twice.
Yeah. And recognize signals if things are going wrong, and you see a red bag, or you see something. Call the vet anyway, of course. But you're sort of out of the way. We are sort of out of the way here before the vet arrives. It's half an hour late.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you need to
be on.
And if you're in doubt, you can of course start walking, like when they're colicky.
Yeah.
You start walking and try to stop the breeding process.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot you can do. Nature is very strong.
Yes. Yes, I understand. Well, fingers crossed we won't be having any of those issues.
No. Most of them, 90% goes. They can just do it themselves easily.
Without assistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, in Portugal and Spain, most of the foals are being born in the field.
Yeah.
And then they need to stand up and follow the mare and drink within an hour, where the whole herd is moving. So it must be a lot harder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So this is even more controlled.
Yeah,
Well, I'm very excited about her, but of course, like, the breeding project for you extends much further than just what we're doing right now. Actually, this is a little bit different to what you normally do. I know you also have a field with a couple of crossbreds that are a little bit older, so we can maybe go and visit them. I'm quite curious to see what that crossbreeding looks like. I don't have a lot of experience with seeing warm bloods crossed with PREs.
Yeah, no, I'd love to take you there. There's one 2-year-old, and he is in a field with 2 1-year-old stallions.
Yeah.
And so he's being their big brother. And the 1-year-olds are, of course, still very scuffy.
Yeah.
One of the things that you really need to know about foals is you have to look at them when they're 3 days old, when they're 3 weeks old, and when they're 3 years old.
Yeah.
Everything in between, they look horrible.
Yeah.
So we're now going to go to the field, and they will look horrible.
Awesome. Well, let's meet some of the other mares, and then we'll head over and see the young ones.
Yeah.
So we just pulled her out as a bit of an example. This mare's a little bit further along in her gestation.
Yeah.
And so you were telling that you can start to see, I can really see the hollowing out now.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at some moment it looks like they go to Brooks Hospital. They look very horrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is really going to be like the top of a roof even more.
Yeah.
But then you're getting closer and closer to the birth.
I'm quite curious to see what her, oh yeah, they look bigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they look definitely more full.
Yeah.
And what is this?
They're still pointing to each other. As soon as they start pointing downwards, that's another sign that it's filling up.
Aha. And there's these little white, is that anything relating to milk?
No.
Or is that just sand?
It's just sand. No, at first the place where the milk should come out, there's a little waxy sort of ball on it that's like a cork.
Yeah.
It keeps the milk in.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the birth is coming, they start leaking, which you're never happy about, because that's very important milk that they're leaking.
Yeah.
So you try to prevent that from happening. But it happens sometimes when the pressure gets too high on it.
Yeah. And how does her tail feel if you, limp as a noodle.
Yeah, we need those cameras. No, it will be within a week or 2, I think.
You're gonna be a mama.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Maybe we go look at some of your crossbreds in the field then.
Let's do that.
And then I'm quite curious to see if there's any noticeable differences. Maybe you can spot us some. I mean, they're horses, of course. It's not. But you said something quite nice before to me, that you're like, this isn't like standard breeding. I thought that was an interesting concept you were explaining to me.
Well, breeding, if you look it up in a dictionary, will say you have a certain breed and you're trying to improve it.
Yeah.
So every generation you try to make a better generation than the generation before. What's the 𝒂𝐻𝐿 has been doing for 50 years.
Yeah.
And they've changed the horses completely by adding very athletic stallions to mares that come from very athletic stallions. It's like using Usain Bolt and Carl Lewis and Femke Bol, and you put them all together and you get a super athlete.
Yes.
And that's what they did very successfully. They created super athletes. But if you look at pictures over the horses in the past 50 years, you see they've changed.
Yeah.
They used to be more rectangular and now they're more powerful. And there lies, in my idea, a bit of the problem, because they are so athletic that for a normal rider like me, it becomes dangerous, because they're extremely strong and extremely sensitive. They react to the smallest aids, and not every rider has the control to ride that.
Yeah.
And that's where this whole crossbreeding idea came from, of course. The Iberian horses are known for their loyalty.
Yeah.
They are very much, they're focused on the rider, and they want to please. They want to do whatever you're asking of them. And they have a very quiet demeanor. Well, you've seen a couple of them now.
Yeah, they're super,
they have a quiet demeanor.
But also all of mine, I mean, they're all nice horses.
They're all really friendly. And they're not there to throw you off. You don't feel unsafe at all with them. And the idea, of course, is if we put those two talents together, the being loyal and willing to please and trying to do whatever you're asking of them, and some of the power of the warm bloods, it might end up to be, well, the best of both worlds.
Yes.
If you look at dressage in the future, we all know that the world of dressage is changing, the equestrian world is changing. If it's the whole jury system is going to be more onto harmony and a pleasant ride, and it looks as if it all comes naturally, you don't need a double bridle, then these horses, the cross horses, might fit that model better than the power terminals that we have now.
I think we've bred horses for a lot of people don't hold enough of a skill set to train them correctly, and that's where you get the harsh methods, because they have resorted to everything else in their toolbox, but they're overpowered and they cannot manage these horses, and then you get to these extreme cases which are very sad. So steering towards fixing that already by having more level-headed horses and breeding for temperament and rideability and all these kind of things is really important. So I definitely think the PREs bring that. I mean, that's what I enjoy and love about the breed. And we always, when we were running the other stables and we had Klein horses and our horses, if there was a horse running in the field, it was always a warm blood. It was never a PRE. They have really a different way that they exist in everyday management and in the riding.
People talk about warm bloods as if they're being difficult. It's not the warm blood's fault. They were just bred to be super athletic. And they might be too athletic for a normal rider.
I agree.
And if you look at the spread, I saw that at the KNS when I was in the board there. If you look at the spread, it's 4 or 5% of the riders will ever ride Grand Prix. And 96% will never make it. And 80% will never make it further up into the FEI levels. And 60% is just B and L. It's just in the beginning. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you look at football, amateur sport football, it's the same statistics. There's only 4% that's in the Champions League. And the rest of it is just playing for fun. And I think if people want to ride for fun, we should breed horses for fun.
That make it fun. That make it enjoyable.
And not, you don't want to be scared of your own horse.
Okay. Well, let's go meet the enjoyable ones then. Let's go meet the youngsters. So this is the setup for the youngsters.
This is set up for the youngsters. They have a very big field for themselves.
But there is an elephant in the room.
There's a very big elephant in the room. Well, as you can see, this is of course an area where there's a lot of wolves. They are in an open field next to the woods, which is the specific place for wolves that want to hunt. So we put up an electrical wiring, 1.60 meters high, that you can hardly see because it's very thin and therewith quite elegant. And it looks as if they have all the space to roam, which is nice, but the gates themselves are the weak point, because they can go either over it or through it. So we over dimensioned the solution a bit. by putting
It's
up
actually
this whole
quite
thing,
insane the lengths you have to go to just to keep young horses safe nowadays.
It's completely insane.
And it's been actually really quick. I mean, the wolves have started coming into the Netherlands like how many years ago? Not that many.
No, well, I think about 5 years ago, but there were only a few of them.
Yeah.
But the population is exploding,
yeah.
and it's just going to keep on exploding.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that would stop.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to meet the youngsters.
Well, as you see, they look like a warm blood, right?
Yeah,
That's the first
that's true.
thing. Yeah,
The first impression is warm
you will
blood.
notice. Yeah. Well, these are only 1-year-olds, and they're very much in their winter coats and scuffy.
Hey, buddy. And these are all geldings or colt still?
He is a gelding. I gelded him when he was 2 years old. When you can still see, he got kicked around in the stallion field that I told you.
Oh yeah. Hi, you're very
after
friendly.
that, we decided to just finish this. But these are still stallions, and the idea is that you're being attacked on one side. The idea is to geld them at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Because the people who are buying these crossbreds, they are not interested in breeding with
gelded.
them, and they want them as quiet as they can possibly be. So I think the best thing to do is just get that over with.
Yeah.
So they have another half year to grow. And
Are
then,
any of the ones here from Vienna?
No, these are not.
No.
None of them are. Let me think. No,
Hi.
none of them are Viennas. No, Vienna had a mare out of 𝒋𝒐𝒏𝒆𝒚 last year,
Yeah.
and we sold it.
Oh, it's already sold.
Yeah. So it's
Good
gone.
signs.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
signs.
yeah. This one is a 𝒂𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘, and
They're
that one
so
is a more.
sweet, all of them.
They're so sweet.
But it's funny what you say that like sometimes like when I go to like the big PRE studs, you can kind of see that they are PRE foals, but the first impression straight away is straight. It looks just
They
like
very
warm
much
blood
look like a
foals.
warm blood. Very much look like
I
a warm
wonder
blood.
why that characteristic seems to be stronger than the
I
PRE.
don't know. As I told you, Vienna's foals don't have that much. They're slightly more because this one you can see it's more rectangular in the build.
Yeah.
Whereas the Vienna foals, they're slightly shorter.
Yeah.
And if we have some footage of her secret 3-year-old, you'll see it. And it makes it a bit feisty because they're round.
Yeah.
And these are
longer.
But of course they're in their ugly duckling phase.
Yeah, it takes a while for them to become
quite a
their.
while to,
especially the chestnut one is. I mean, he's older, so we're starting to get a bit more of a picture of what he's going to become. But he's definitely has that more prolonged warm blood, look.
But that's exactly what's fun to see. In the 1-year-olds, you don't see it. The 2-year-old, it starts to take shape of things to come.
Yeah,
and he's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. He's. I think he really will be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lovely day together. I'm so excited to see what's to come for us with Vienna and Emporio's Foal on the way.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I mean, I've known you. I've seen your breeding project before. I've seen also some of the other crossbreds. It's very interesting. So for anyone who's interested in what Marlies does, and maybe anything else to do with, I mean, to be honest, you sell horses just through people finding you. You don't really advertise anything, but I will link your website down below in the description. So if anybody's interested in finding out more about you, the project, or the horses, they can find you.
Yep.
But we will be seeing you again because obviously there is going to be a birth.
There's going to be a birth.
So we have lots to look forward to, and I'll be on emergency call. And maybe looking through the cameras as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in your pajamas in the middle of the night.
Yeah, with my robe.
Right out of your bed.
Exactly, so we have that to look forward to. But thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your beautiful home with us as well, and your horses. And we will be back soon for the special day. But for now, that's everything. I hope you guys have enjoyed getting to know Marlies, getting to know her special project, breeding warm bloods with PRE horses. It's something worth keeping an eye out, especially in the next couple of years as the horses start to become older and develop. But we will be updating everybody on that. But for now, that's it. That's everything.
Thank you very much. It was a thrilling afternoon.
Yeah, we had a good time. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. And the next time you guys are seeing Marlies, we will have a foal beside us. So that's something to look forward to. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.